What is going on, everyone? Welcome. It is John Salama, Trading Trends with John Salama, CMT. Got Rocco, the all-time high Maltese dog here, whose birthday was just yesterday. Everyone share happy birthday for Rocco. All-time highs, as promised in the market. We'll get into the most important charts of the market. Was doing some traveling last week, so only one video and newsletter, but the portfolio has been absolutely rocketing. I have matched my high water mark of the year in terms of percent, so it's doing very well, double digits. It's been very strong. Bought some copper today, was the portfolio move. Things look absolutely exceptional. We will get to every important chart on the day and on the to recap the past 5 days as well. Happy Mother's Day belated as well to you moms out there. All right, natural gas, the story of the day so far. It is 2:10 p.m. Eastern time, very low volume. This is pretty much what they're talking about in terms of a melt up, drift higher every day. And we'll take a look at the indices and such. But today, nat gas and silver ripping 6% higher, big moves. We talked before about nat gas and how it's going to look decent here. We'll check my notes to see if that was actually spot on with just this move. And also silver was how I got to the Cash Tag Awards last week, saying, that was my call. I don't think the Momo was over. And boom, today it was silver significantly waking up. On Indian retail dropped 3%. Some emerging markets have not done well. Indonesia is hitting 52-week lows today. And India, a big drop here, down 3%. Retail down 3% as well. Consumer discretionary XLY hit too, down about 70 bips. New all-time highs for, get ready for this, DRAM, which is that very hotter than Hansel in Zoolander ETF. It's the memory. I'm playing it through EWY. Bought more on Friday. I was so happy to do so. But new all-time highs for DRAM, the memory ETF, SPY, QQQ, emerging markets, South Korea, semiconductors, broader tech. Semiconductors, a different weighted, so not just straight up cap weighted, more heavily in NVIDIA. It's all the rest, and Taiwan. So Taiwan semi. So takeaway here is absolutely broad-based confirmation and participation by much of the globe, though not all. And also the semi boom in that part of the tech world is real. I know I've seen IGV and software and Bitcoin and all that it's done, and cool la-di-da, but these things are printing money right now. Let us get to the important charts of the day and all that riffraff, wibble, wobble, and what have you. Hope everyone's doing well. These markets are a lot more fun to trade. I always get excited when triggers happen in the portfolio and pyramids, and, ideally not stops. But let's get to this in a second. Really quickly, let me just make sure this is live. Bang bang. All right, so Micron, my God, up 7%. This is what I'm saying. It's like pick a semi. One day it's Micron, one day it's NVIDIA, one day it's Intel. It just goes insane. Rocco, I could have named you Micron. Anyway, NVIDIA up 2.5%, 220. It's exactly what we were talking about. Those November earnings. You want to see that 190, 195 was always just meerkatting, and then going right under that. Kept on presenting itself as a significant ceiling, and now that looks to be as if that's going to be the floor on NVIDIA going forward, as it's getting more confident in printing these prices north of $210. Tesla up 4%, bucking the trend in XLY today, consumer discretionary, as this is a major component of. Intel up 2%. Things been absolutely gangbusters. AMD up 3%. Qualcomm up 7%. Again, it's what we've been talking about for months. You got to own some of this AI story where the puck not only is going, where it's flying and going there. And that's any semi right now. So allocate appropriately. Meta representing the XLC down 1% today. Google down 2% today. I believe last I checked, most valuable company in the world with all the levers that they have of YouTube, Google, cloud, Android, et cetera, et cetera. SMH ETF, we'll look at, of course, up another 2% today. My goodness gracious, and Palantir down 2%. Let's get the intraday chart. So here we opened up. It was like they were waiting on Monday morning, mothers, fathers alike, and they got this thing at 7:36 at the low, at the bell at 9:30. And before that 30 minutes was up at 10 a.m., we were not going under 739 anymore. So they bid it up basically 0.5% almost off of that. alone by 10 a.m. bar, sold off a little bit at around 10:30, and boom, the all-time highs continuing to press throughout the day. At 1:30 p.m., just less than 45 minutes ago, we pierced basically 740.79 here. It's barely just under that now by about 40 cents. Rising VWAP on the day is 739.33. It's holding that. We could be by 741 or so easily, 742 end of the day. Again, volume very, very thin, trickling in. As I zoom out, I think it's been 5 days since my last video. It's not like a prayer or confession. Forgive me, Father. It's been days from my last sin. But what I said before, I'm checking my notes here. So I said May 4th, May 5th is when the market is going to have to begin appreciating in time versus price. So what I expected, especially after this formation of these candles going into that May 4th, May 5th, VWAP on those days average 720. So if that makes sense, that's where I really have this leg of the rally beginning. You can go, Rocco. And my target for that was, to be honest, more so in terms of a time, if this makes sense. It's always art and science. I saw a peak more so happening in the S&P around May 20th, which is mid next week, and around a level of, and this is kind of the crazy wonky part, it was honestly going to be somewhere around like 7:30. So we're extended, yes, but this is the taking the temperature of the sick baby right here is a 76 RSI. That means it can go further. That's a confirmation of the trend. And again, when that rally to me began on Cinco de Mayo, right around the 4th, 5th last week, like I said, the VWAP was right around 720. RSI 71. We've only continued to climb from there. We're at 76 today, and these candles looks absolutely stupendous. We are again at all-time highs today right now, yes, and we're holding VWAP on the day, even albeit low volume, yes. So I still see about another week and a half or so of bullishness in this tape. It's insane, regardless of what Iran says. They'll never bow to Trump in the U.S. and all the rhetoric that we're hearing over there. I don't even think the market cares anymore. You'll see what energy is doing and getting sold off and things like that. It's been the worst place to be. Oil and XOP and XLE for the past 5 days. It's absolutely been risk on in the right area. So overall, S&P has not been under 50 RSI since the ceasefire was announced. I do want to remind you that, again, it was about 4.5 weeks ago when the ceasefire was announced, when we gapped up 2.5%. That's the last time we've been under 50 RSI. That day happened. Everyone said, yes, I need more market. Give me market, please. And be very frank with you, we've been less than a 60 RSI just 2 days later. So it's been aggressively, enthusiastically, animal spirits almost-esque type vibes. And I'll say the animal spirits actually happened on April 16th, and I don't think those lows are going to happen anymore. Those old lows, the old high is 697, right south of 700. I don't think it's going to happen. The next pullback, if and whenever it happens on a sudden volatility, scare or anything like that in regional banks, which are going lower today, I still see, a pullback. The sellers could probably bring you down to about the 710 level, which is 30 points away from here. It would hurt. People say, oh my gosh, the bull market is over. That is it. And honestly, that would be an absolutely normal place for this market to take a breather. So all that being said, where I think, earnings are sort of more out of the way here, as the larger companies have reported. But yeah, I see about another week and a half of bullishness. Could it go higher? Candles look great. 750, sure. That was my Labor Day projection. We're going to hit it here in mid-May, it looks like. 4 months ahead. That's why we always got to position, and you got to be long the cycle. You're not going to get the numbers exactly right, but you got to take position stakes. You got to put the chips on the roulette table. You actually got to get involved and make the money. It's not about hitting the exact target. I'm happy just going higher and to the right. Like I said, I bought copper today, adding uncorrelated exposure. I have the semi store. I have Taiwan. I have South Korea for the memory. I want to get more so CPER. It seems like it is a time where the periodic table of elements is about to go insane again, and we'll see silver coming up soon. So, okay, so that's about it. I don't want to blather anymore here. And that's about it. Yeah, okay, it's fine. Off into the races. All right, let's get to the charts, the important charts. Number one big mover today, in terms of in terms of sigma deviation, standard deviation move, up 6%, 5.87 to be exact, is natural gas. I do want to check. I always like playing Monday morning quarterback. I don't have a position on this, so I say Monday morning. It's what I, said here to do, and when things are going to look decent for nat gas. So was I right or wrong on this one here? I'm checking my notes. It's actually a pretty confusing one. I said I wanted to see this break above 50 RSI first to see if it could, enjoy some of the energy complex. But this was when oil had been a star. This one's been much more murky. Nat gas hitting above 50 RSI for the first time since mid-March, March 19th to be exact. So about 7 weeks now under that important 50 RSI, just negligible, flatline essentially. Not honestly a ton to say on this. This is boring me. Near term, I think it could have, I don't know, this looks like it wants to go a little bit higher, especially given the day on the chart. I'm sorry, the candle of today. It could go a little bit higher to about 1145. Do understand that you're getting what is this level here? Is that the upper Bollinger Band here? The 50-day moving average is 1127, and this, nat gas makes widow makers of us all. So I think possibly it goes up another, it's a great looking day here. Possibly gets to about, like I said, 11.5 or so, and I think that could be it. Nat gas is a freak thing. It does sometimes gather momentum when it gets above a 50 RSI, but again, the heaviness of the 200-day moving average, if it gets to 1260, this thing has not honestly proved you wrong. Look at that Dikembe, my God, on December 5th. And again, honestly, close to here, looked amazing, had an amazing 12% day back in Feb, and then boom, down. So if this thing gets near 1260, I would sell calls. I could even buy, 12 puts going out to something like August, but I don't have a position on this right now. But nat gas are absolutely gobbling it up. VWAP on the day, by the way, to give you some tactical short-term stuff, 1103. The high is 1121, just 5 cents off that. Looks like it's going to go higher on the day. Congrats if you're long nat gas. This rally essentially began back here at 1020, nearly $1 ago and about 11 days ago. So strong rally here. Looks like it's just about to enter some resistance here. The 50-day moving average probably goes a little bit higher, and then I see it resting, consolidating back to about 1075 level. As I said, if you're long, congrats. Have a little bit more, I think, before it hits resistance. So probably it's kind of ballsy, but you probably sell. You're not going to get paid, but you could sell, something like the 12 calls. I would wait, though, on possibly buying those 11 puts. All right, next, not really, sexy for that one. ASHR, different kind of China ETF. We were talking about this. China looking good. Oh, look at that. I would say that's good. That is new 52-week highs. The Asia complex thing is real. How can you ignore China? Taiwan all-time high. South Korea all-time highs. And we're all just going to say, man, to China. People want an allocation. This isn't your FXI. FXI has not made new highs. This chart looks good. This reminds me right here, right now, you are having confirmation here, 70 RSI. It's a little bit, just barely, but I like it. You have a new all-time high. It's at the upper Bollinger Band. Beautiful chart. They haven't thinking about selling this since last June, up and to the right, rising 200 moving average, very sharp too. Looks good. What I was going to say about comparing this to S&P is, in terms of the chart here, to me, this old floor, look how it tangled with it, this 34 half line. I don't think we're going south of that anytime soon. So this appreciates to me in terms of time versus price. Calendar, I mean, the chart looks great. Can they take it to 37 half short term? Yeah, I believe they absolutely can. And then ultimately this will consolidate and rest at about what I said was the previous highs, $35, and that's going to be standing room only to get in at the next stop to China. That looks great. And this hasn't been under 50 RSI since the ceasefire as well. So global domination towards different forces in terms of swarming to the S&P and allocating dollars and into China here. So this one kicking butt today. New 52-week highs. This thing has been absolutely crushing it. Good looking candle. View up on the day, 36.45. They love it. It's up there by above 9 cents. We're just talking to you inside of 5 cents of the 52-week high. Looks absolutely stupendous. A-share a little bit long in the tooth here, possibly to go and buy the 37.5 calls. But if you're not allocated to Asia, specifically this part, I don't think that's a bad trade. You can go out. I see if it's listed as optionable if there's liquidity behind it. But you could do the 37 calls in August and then sell, the 37 Mays or something short term against this to subsidize the trade. I like that. Otherwise, you can sell the 35 May puts. I'm not sure if you're going to get paid on that. Always see if the juice is worth the squeeze, as always. All right, and the number 3, my ticket to the cash tag awards. I said buy silver, and boom, it's finally waking up here. S to the L to the V of the same amount as nat gas earlier, 6% here. So what do you know? We talked about this trade. It is at the highest RSI relatively going back to the day of the highs of January, okay, when this thing was trading $110. So the momentum is very real. VWAP on the day is 75.91. They're saying, please give that to me more and more. It's hitting highs right here. Understand where you are contextually through the data, and what it means here is you're getting into a little bit more nosebleed territory here. Don't forget, this rally here began. Again, I see we were talking about before when the rally in S&P. This leg started around the fourth, or if I'm talking about the right instrument, around the fourth or fifth for this one, Cinco de Mayo or so. So VWAP that day before we got going, right there was right around $66. Boom, you got a quick shot, 11 points, if my math is correct here, to $77, and new essentially almost 2-month highs. I like this one. I think it has another week of strength to go, similar to the S&P. I think this wants to get to. My target has been $76, but when I see candles like this breaking through ceilings and you still have more duration, to go in terms of what you had forecasted to go, I think it's got some more. I don't think it's going to go as quite high as this 86 marker, but there is traffic here in these levels first discovered back in early January of this year. Makes not shocking. This wants to get to $80 and then start to slow down. The signal will be for these candles to get smaller. I like selling the 70 puts. I don't think you're going to get paid for anything for that. If you want to be tactical, you want to buy the 80 calls in August, be my guest. Just be careful and sell something against to understand that this is already 11 points higher. Essentially, what is that, like 18% in just 2 weeks? So the trade has happened. Also, just another thing too, in terms of a short-term breakout, turtles. Hey, turtle system. I'm moving on turtle a little bit quicker because I'm 16 minutes in and rambling. The ATR on this puppy is 3 even. 2 ATR is $6 last I checked. So you can get in right here, right now, 77.5. If it goes against you to 71, get out because it's very likely backing up to the 21-day exponential moving average is 69 even. Save yourself those 2 points, back up the truck later for a better entry. Otherwise, enjoy the gains. I hope it is as simple as that sounds. Why do I buy South Korea up massively in it with a lower basis? Because we're moving our trailing steps higher and because the gains are going higher. The charts, when they look like this, I want to be participating. And it's going higher, and the stop is your risk management, okay, in part. So that's what I say for that. In terms of the risk reward, understand, like I said, where it came from. So 80 is, you're getting $3 up and potentially that move down. So you always got to do in terms of risk reward. Those were the big moves up today. They are loving nat gas, China, and silver. If you were allocated in any way to that, you were enjoying some decent gains. Let's look at what's getting absolutely kicked. India, I just finally noticed that Rocco's gone. India, there you go, popped it. So India down almost 3% today. This thing has been a dog. I know there's global bull markets going on. This thing has truly not been. Once 2026 came around, this had one good week holding above a rising 200 moving average. Honestly, everything changed for India at the beginning of the year. Ugly candle today, down 2.8%. If you'd asked me like a couple of days ago, I would say, okay, this looks strong-ish. Short term, I would expect it to at least try to tango with the former highs of $51, but instead it had significant get back and broke down the 21-day moving average and is curling lower. So don't love that. Sub 50 RSI again. It's been really a dog of an area. Don't forget, India peaked June of last year. So this has been a long time coming of essentially failure in India. And then really the bottom fell out here end of February. The whole war did not help. And this bottom essentially at the end of March at $45, $3 off those lows now. I think it has not a convincing candle, obviously, today. Not good looking tape. I still think this has somewhat of a decent week. There's some charts that are just like the S&P, like the other one we had just talked about. I believe silver and China. I think these have a little bit more to go. That's why I'm saying go out and buy those August calls, sell Mays against it. This looks like it has a little bit of runway. I expect it to hold around $49. So this breakdown is a little bit surprising today. View up on the day, 48.61, and they're saying no thank you. It actually just hit a new low of day a couple seconds ago, down 2 cents ago from here. So India very weak. I expect it to hold the line around $49 and probably blow its brains out, essentially getting close to 50 half. It just, I don't see this gap right here. It's going to be so much work to do. So 50 half is where my cursor is, right there. That would be best case scenario. It retrenches it essentially and goes back here. So really no trade. It's near the lows. I don't want to sell puts here because you'd be kind of a sucker. You probably would win. I don't think you're selling 48 puts. I guess see if it pays. I don't think it will. I certainly don't want to buy calls on a loser like this, though it could rip back to 50, but I think there's better trades. Really, really weak area. The weakest. S&P hitting all-time highs. Q's all-time highs. India, no love, down nearly 3%. Next area, XRT retail getting shellacked today. I guess Sydney Sweeney not doing enough deals with enough companies. She should, I guess. January 22nd, retail peaked at nearly $92. And a critical marker here. This thing has been in purgatory, honestly, since the war. Of course, folks don't like to go in the mall when gas is, $5, $6 or whatever it is, what have you, where you are. And retail looks ugly here. You have a really significant break today under a 200-day moving average that is flatline, legit flatline at 84.67 to be exact. And now you are here at levels, honestly, first discovered just in July of last year for retail. This chart, though, looking very heavy on the day, I will say, looks like it wants. I think it's going to hold. This is if you're, a degenerate or a bit of a gambler. This is spicy. The chart to me, I would rather buy into some kind of strength. So I would rather have. Here's a contrarian trade of the day, I guess. If this was to have a close above 84.5, giving me a confirmation above the 21-day exponential moving average and getting me within a rock's throw, 15 cents away, essentially, of a 20 bips of the 200-day moving average. That would give me the comments I need to buy, and it'll probably come very close to corresponding with a 50 RSI. That'll give me the strength I need and the confidence I need to believe in this getting back to an $88 to $89. So if you get this to close, I wouldn't act today. If you get this to close, because the candle is fugly. But if you get it close here, 84.5, I would go out, and it depends on when it happens. I would go out, like 3 months and go out and buy those 88 or 89 calls. I think it can rip the upside. Maybe something happens with the war, the market slips out before, gasoline tanks, XRT gets a pop. That's the way I would do that. I wouldn't buy it right here, but again, it closed above 84.5, and I would be interested. Probably not a horrendous idea selling like 80 puts, but again, these are spicy trades. There's right now no bottom. I do see a lot of price discovery here at $78 though, and support going back to last summer. So a lot of cycles involved and captured there. So a couple things interesting in XRT. They're absolutely shellacking it today in accordance, in addition with India, I should say. And then the other third area getting shellacked, use that word again, like my Sixers did yesterday. Oh my gosh, I didn't even watch more than 5 minutes of it, unfortunately. Yesterday was for the moms for Mother's Day. Then I saw them down 30, so I said mother another word. Regional today. Don't forget this group peaked back here February 9th. $4. Still decent looking, a very dramatic group at times. Right now it's at 49 RSI. We'll call that 50. Getting very close here, basically very similar to the March 31st lows in terms of RSI. Ugly candle down 1.5%. The low of the day, 68.37. Bounced off the mat a little bit. VWAP 69.16. They say no interest at that level. For the regionals here, in terms of, short term, I still think they have a decent, this week and next. It's not a good looking candle on the day, but I do think this heads towards $69 and ultimately towards $71 by the end of next week. If you are, ballsy, you can buy the 71 August calls if they are listed. I would have a risk management stop in place. If you're down 25% or so on the option, quickly just get out because it's going against you. But I do like the way, in a sick way, the way this is trading. Otherwise, you could also sell. I don't love the idea of that gap being filled. You could sell the 67 puts going out. May, June. Be careful. Do it through a spread. So some stuff popping out on KRA. I do think it has an upward trajectory over the next 2 weeks, and this 50-day moving average of 68.30 holds is just what it looks like to me. All right, so India, retail, regional banks today. Those are your areas for shorts. All right, this is a longer show. We haven't been on in a little bit. Let's go. Top 3 gainers of the past 5 days. My baby, Anyang, new all-time highs yet again. South Korea up 18%. I didn't even change the figure. When we did the video on Wednesday, it was 18% for the past 5 days. Today, another 18% for rolling 5 days. So this thing is literally doing about 3.5% a day. Today, just barely inside that trend, up 2%. We are outside the upper bands now, about 5 days in a row. Can this last forever? No. It did it back here too, essentially to end February, and then it had a drawdown. This is absolutely nosebleed territory. Humanity was not built for life like this, hence why you get nosebleeds. If you go all the way up a mountain, our bodies were not destined for that. So love one another. But my upper target here, honestly, is close to, if you even go, nosebleed high is like 190. I mean, this is really, really, minimum. I mean, absolutely max 190. You can actually get to levels where I would say 175. But you're getting so much vol expansion here. So this is crazy. Also above 50 RSI, like I said, global swarm to bull markets since the ceasefire was announced, up 18%. The only way to play this is the way I added to it on Friday and so forth. I love when it starts spiking, is to do the ATR rule. 2 is a lot. It's $14, meaning, look at the math, is so simple. It lined up for us. 194. So you can get in right here. If it goes to 180, get out, because it's likely doing exactly what I said and headed to 160. You get a better entry. Otherwise, enjoy the gains, because this thing's probably headed to 200 soon before folks say, oh, hey, this is, maybe there's trees don't grow to the sky. But, they say South Korea is the gen capital of the world. I think you have to take leverage option classes there. I think just to be a citizen, because everyone YOLOs. So crazy market, never overestimate, people's fear, greed, FOMO, etc. That's why you just want to be in the markets. But South Korea, no better place to be in all of ETF land, guys, than EWI in the past 5 days, up 18%. I already told you the way to play it. Number 2, right after that is my other play I set to buy. I have no exposure, although I did just buy a somewhat similar metal today. Copper is what I bought, but silver, your number 2 best trade. So I wasn't far off on the cash tag invite. Up 17%, so just a hair behind EWI for the past 5 days, or 3% and change a day. Up 2x that trend. I like what I'm seeing here. I think it's going to have a decent week. It's that 76, getting above 76. Look at how it's rejected here on April 17th, and look how it hasn't held 76 since mid-March, when we were just a week into the war, and now it's trying to get to $78. Very good looking chart right here on silver. I think it's got another week to go. I would do the similar. ATR here is $3. I would get in. Should it drop to 71, get out. Otherwise, enjoy the gains, as it looks like it does one ahead to that $81 level. Number 3, my other baby, although I play it through the SMH, SOXX, new all-time highs yet again today. Look at this. This thing's got a fever. Oh, my goodness. This is just insane. I hope you can see what I'm pointing at. Overbought since April 13th. Today is May 11th, so that's 4 weeks. Get in line, because someone is going to overpay for you. It's like when real estate is especially crazy and folks are, just buying the house in cash. That's what's happening in semis. They're saying, buy now, ask questions far later, if at all. But stocks look absolutely, insane here. Just a Taylor Swift, Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, like Ron, whoever you want to use. I don't think it's over in the short term. I wouldn't be shocked for some small pullbacks. Maybe this gets to 505, something like that. But do understand, this is so elevated. The 21-day moving average is at 450, okay? So we are 80 points away on that alone. Very extended. I'm glad I'm long. The only way to play this would be to use the ATR rule. It is robust. It's 17 points. So $34. Look at that. The math lined up for you again. So we're trading 533. You can get in right here, right now. Obviously, it's long in the tooth. Should SOXX drop to 499, get out, because it's likely headed to 450. Save yourself those points, get a better entry. Otherwise, enjoy the ride. This can go higher to 550. So that's how you got to kind of align yourself in markets. It's not just saying, oh, I'm going to pick the best player, best MVP, and this is exactly how many points he's going to have. Just align yourself in the ship of the best player, probably Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and then just get in his ship and ride him. Okay, top 3 losers the past 5 days, and they're all correlated. I don't like doing this, but the losses in the past week were only from one area and one area only, and that was the oil, energy, and gas complex. BNO, Brent Oil, down more than USO, hence why we're looking at it. It's up today 3.5%. This hit 52-week highs, don't forget, just 7 days ago. And, excuse me, a quick fall down 8% or just inside of 2% a day. Today, reversing that trend. I don't love this here. I don't trying to form a narrative. If you follow price long enough, the narrative will appear and form itself. But this, just looking at the chart, looks like it's the antithesis of, I see another week or so tactically for the S&P to have strength. This looks like it has another week or so of weakness. I do expect it to kind of hold the line at its 21-day exponential moving average, which is, oops, I just noticed that you couldn't see a dang thing. That's better. So it's trading 55 even here. I think this has a rough week into the early to middle of next week. I think it holds around $53. And then I'm not shocked if they flush it a little bit towards about that, like a $49 level. So things that appear to me, the flows are still good. I just don't want to buy calls here. I honestly kind of look at, if I needed to, selling 57 calls in May and then, buying 58s against it to help subsidize. Otherwise, potentially buying, say maybe a June 40, or even like buy yourself some time, then obviously get out of it before. But maybe in August, 49 put, and then sell, the 48s against it. So some ideas for energy. But overall, though, strong and above a 46 RSI, honestly, going back all of 2026. But BNO, not the place to be this week. The biggest loser, down 8% today, reversing that trend. I think possibly goes a little bit higher, short term like 56. And I do think it reverses and goes lower to about that 48 handle. All right, that is BNO. Again, Carly, let's go through these because all these charts are going to be pretty similar in a way. XOP, your number 2 loser, down 6.5% over the past 5 days, or 1% or average a day. Today, also reversing up 2.5%. XOP here, short term, same exact thing. I don't think it has a stellar week. I do think they try and flush this one down to about that 158 level. I just don't like, and this is also sub 50 RSI. Decent day, of course. VWAP 168.40. It's holding that high of day 169.27. 10 cents off that. Just not buying it right here. Don't think it's going to work out. I really do see. Yeah, I think 164 seems like pretty, I don't want to say foregone conclusion, but I think it's going to go lower by the time a week is up. Don't really need the exposure, but I'm kind of interested in August, 164 puts or selling of the, 177 call. Again, don't forget headline risk. Something comes out, this spikes. So, or, it moves the other way against you very quickly. But overall, I don't think XOP, a couple trades that are popping in my mind, and we'll go to the broader basket of XLE before we wrap up. XLE, of course, similar to the other charts, up 2.5% today, down 4% over the past 5 days, which makes it the third worst leader. So again, the worst Brent Oil itself, then XOP, and then XLE. Similar to what I said, XLE here broader. Don't think it has a good week going forward. I think this wants to tag essentially. Yeah, this $55. It looks like it wants to bounce lower. A very strong day today. The only thing I would question for these and the other energy products is if this candle, this Dragonfly Dojo that appeared across those related markets on May 7th, which was Thursday, if they hold. For some reason, I just don't think they do. I'm waiting for the evidence guy, and combined with the sub 50 RSI, rolling lower 21 day, I'm just not overall enthusiastic. I do think this wants to head towards about $55. So those August $55 puts make sense. Also selling of, May 58 call sell makes sense. Always try and do a spread against so you can go to bed at night. Those were the biggest losers of the past 5 days. If you were in oil, XOP, XLE, I am not. All right. And finally, top 3 trades of the past 5 days. If you were in these, congrats. You were absolutely slaying the market. Long EWY, I am. I've been talking about that and writing about that since January. Long silver, that is waking up again finally. And then SOXX, I've been talking to you about the semis That is the 3 best trades in the entire land, all over the land. We will be back, I hope, Wednesday with a video. We'll be more regular this week. And going to go on the JC, the morning show on Monday to talk about how the turtle trading is going, open positions, and these overall wackadoo all-time high explosion markets. Peace!